Welcome to the 6th lesson. In this lesson, you will learn the steps to journey mapping. And after this lesson, you will have an overall understanding of where to start and what steps lays before you and what steps you need to know to successfully complete the work. So, how to create a custom journey map. And the steps I will talk about here is how to create a valuable and useful custom journey map, because it's not that hard to just create a custom journey map, but how to create one that is valuable to you, to your organization, and useful. So the steps can be divided in 3 steps. The first one is before you start journey mapping. The second one is how to create the actual journey map, and then how to use the journey map to get results. And there are a few steps in those. So in the first one, I'm not going to go through all of those. I'm just going to dive deep in a few of them and talk about them. And I mean, if you want to go through them all, you could find them on Custellence.com. We have explained them pretty good there. So before you start journey mapping, you have to define the purpose of your journey, of your custom journey mapping. You have to set the right expectations and gather your cross-functional team. And how to create a journey map, you have to decide what journey to map, of course. You have to decide whose journey you are mapping. What customer segments, what type of customer, how are you going to cut your segmentation for journey mapping? You have to decide the levels of detail in your journey maps and decide if you are going to make an as-is or a to-be map. What are they actually doing? Are you making it as it is today, or how it will be in the future? Or maybe you do them side by side. So this is how it is today and this is how it should be tomorrow. And then you create lanes and sublanes, you create cards, curves, sublanes and subcards to fill out with details. And then you place content, data insights, and in your journey map. And then in the last one, how to use the journey map to get results. For innovation and idea generation based customer needs, how do you make that happen? For smooth collaborating and co-creation, and how to use it as a change plan. But I'm not going to talk about that in this masterclass. So before you start journey mapping, let's look at defining the purpose of your journey mapping. Okay, the first thing you have to do is to define the purpose of your customer journey mapping. And maybe it's all of those, or it's more of some and less of others, but it's really good to do that, to be able to explain to others why you do it, and for you in the process to keep focus on why you're actually journey mapping. I mean, the worst thing is just customer journey map because you have heard that others do it and you have to do it as well. So then you don't really have a purpose connected to what's important in your organization. So the first one is insights, is to gather customer insights, to understand your customers better. Is it to engage colleagues, engage people around the customer's reality? Maybe that's a purpose. Is it to innovate, to drive innovation in your organization based on customer needs? Is it to prioritize? Maybe you do a lot of things, a lot of things has to be done, but you want to focus and really prioritize based on the customer's reality instead of internal things. Is it for realization? How do we take this customer journey down to what we actually do in our internal processes, IT, etc.? Is it for realization? Is that the main purpose? So think of those purposes and maybe try to evaluate them a little bit and think, why are you actually doing that? That will help you later on in the process. I promise you that. And then how to create the customer journey map. Let's take a look at 2 of those in this lesson, and in the next lesson we will look at others. So decide what journeys to map. This is always the question. Always the question, where do we actually start? How do we start map? And I just have a few tips from 20 years of doing this and journey mapping, and those are the 5 things that I've come to give you a good tip where to start. The first one is start where you have effects on the important KPIs in your organization. That's very obvious, but I think many, when starting journey mapping, forget that. Do they have effects on the important KPIs? The next one is results that can reach the customer and have effects on the internal KPIs. So the journeys you choose to start with should have a possibility to go through all the way through your organization, and that changes and positive effect can reach your customers, so you could show actual results. It should be within your mandate. So you don't have to convince a lot of colleagues on a theoretical level that we should do this. So it's within your mandate, that's much better. And start small. Instead of starting in the giant project with a huge project, maybe that you have to convince a lot of other people, it's much better to start small and to show results rather than trying to convince your colleagues. And that is what all of this is about, that if you start small and something that can go all the way through the organization and reach your customers, create a positive impact, that will later on drive that this way to work will be scaled. And what detail levels to keep the journey maps on? That's also a question in the beginning of the process. And at Custellence, we developed kind of a framework to talk with our customers about detail levels, and it's very inspired from process mapping. Detail level 1 is obviously before, during, after. Not that useful, but don't forget those steps. Detail level 2 is describing, for instance, activities during, before. It could be researching different alternatives, signing up. I mean, pretty big scopes in those steps. I mean, summarize more like headlines. And then level 3, then it starts to be pretty good detailed. For instance, in signing up, the customers will check if the time fits, they will probably log in, they will call grandmother to see if she could take the kids when you go to the dentist, etc. While level 4 is, for instance, describing logging in. What is happening? You do that, you click there, you do that. And everything, when deciding what levels to be on, it's important to think, what are you going to do with this? What changes do you want to drive? And back to the tips on the that I talked about earlier, where to start. I mean, keep the level within your mandate where you can create changes and you could create some positive impact. Now you know the steps that lays before you, and now it's time to start journey mapping. And the next thing we will look at is actually where to start. So you will get my hands-on steps on how to start journey mapping. See you in the next lesson.